Okay guys, so let's see. I'm going to have to go ahead and explain this one question again. So you have to solve using the quadratic formula. In first period I made a mistake, so I'm doing this again actually. So the formula here is okay, so I know that some of you really hate red, so let's change into something cool like blue. Alright, so first thing we gotta do is use the quadratic formula. X equals negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a, right? And then we gotta identify our a, that's a, and our b, and our c. Right? And I told you I gotta write this down. I have a big problem where if I don't write things down, then I can't remember it. So then now I plug it in, x equals negative, and then b happens to be negative 8, plus or minus the square root of b squared. So that's negative 8 in parentheses minus 4 times a times c, and that's all over 2 times a. Alright, so I have to move on to the next page. And when I do that, I want to just make sure that I simplify. X equals, and I have to go back to see. Two negatives make a positive 8, so I'm going to put positive 8 plus or minus the square root. I'm going to come back to that later. And it's all over, let's see, what's 2 times 4? That's 8 right there. So I'm going to put 8. Okay, now let's go look inside the square root. Negative 8 squared is 64. So I put 64. Then let me go back. Negative 4 times 4 is negative 16. And negative 16 times 9 is negative 144. Okay. And so then now what we're going to do is we're going to simplify inside the square root. So 64 minus 144 is negative 80. And so this is the first time you're seeing this, but the negative inside the square root is an I because it's an imaginary number. But we'll talk about that in a bit. Let's go ahead and change this into factored form. Okay, so 80 in factored form only using prime numbers is 8 times 10. 10 is 2 times 5. 8 is 4 times 2. 4 is 2 times 2. So you can only circle the prime number, okay? So there you go. We know that negative 80 is negative 1 times 2 times 2 times 2. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4 2's. And then a 5. And it's all over 8. Okay, so now we know who gets to escape the Sleeping Beauty's castle. These two get to escape as 1. These two get to escape as 1. Okay? So then x equals 8 plus or minus. Okay, so the negative 1, the square root of negative 1 is an I. And we'll talk about that more after the test tomorrow. But right now, just know this because you're most alert when, I do that. So the group of 2 escaped as one of the 2's. The group of 2 over here escaped as another 2. The square root of negative 1 is an I, and that's going to be a square root of 5, right? And it's all over 8. And what we gotta do now is the heart. Remember that? Okay, so let me change colors. Pink. And then you do this side of my heart, and then you do that side of my heart, right? Okay, so let's go. X equals. Now if you go back, this side of my heart is what? 8 over 8. So I'm gonna just write it out. Plus or minus, and then what is that side of my heart? 2 times 2 is 4, so it's 4i square root of 5 over 8. We gotta simplify. 8 over 8 is 1. Over here I said don't ever simplify the square root of 5 or the I. So we can only simplify 4 and 8. Divide top and bottom by 4, so it's I square root of 5 because we don't write the 1 over 2. And that's your answer, okay?